Michael Morales Torres para Lucha Libre Online junto a mí. De Washington, D.C. para el mundo, vía Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, Carlos Silva, el presidente de TNA Wrestling, llega acá por primera vez a Lucha Libre Online. Sir, we're honored to have you here. First of all, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Michael. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well, sir. And I had a lot of questions written down prior to this. And suddenly, prior to the interview, you let me know that your dad is Puerto Rican and that the president of TNA Wrestling is half Puerto Rican from Mayagüez. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah, no, excited, happy to say I spent every summer in Puerto Rico right outside San Juan and Atore and with where my grandparents were and spent so much time around old San Juan and that whole area, the Caribe Hilton and Dorado and all of those areas is such an important part of me growing up.
But you're also half Greek, and those are two very fiery, fierce, strong personalities. How was growing up in a home where your dad was probably biting his lips in Spanish while your mom was very verbal in Greek and English?
It was yeah, there was a lot of energy in the house, that's for sure. But it was a great yeah, we had a great mom, great dad, and having both the Greek side and the Puerto Rican side were we always had great parties. That much I can tell you for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about TNA Wrestling. If I'm not mistaken, in December 2024, I received a press release from back then, the head of press relations and press for TNA Wrestling, now the vice president, Ross Foreman, stating that a new vice president was appointed in TNA Wrestling. Enters the picture, Carlos Silva was named. So that was in December. Now we're in October. And out of the blue, every single event this year has been a sold out. It's venue after venue, market after market. Do you expect it to have this huge success in your first year?
I don't know, expect is really maybe the right word. I mean, look, when we go to places, we try to make a difference. I knew that 2025 was going to be a very critical year. I knew that when I took the job. So when we got in there, we really didn't mess around. We didn't wait, and we kept building every sort of 30, 60 days were some critical goals that we wanted to hit. We I was, I've got a lot of great teammates. I've been at, so many places over the years and was able to pull in some great teammates and bring in a new executive producer and a new head of marketing and a new head of digital and head of sponsorship and then we mixed that together with so many great folks we already had on the pro wrestling side from years and years at TNA, with our Nashville studios and our talent management. And I think we smashed it together and the team has just continued to perform. They've used data and analytics around venues and ticket sales, and continued to grow the audience on Access TV where we are now, but also on TNA Plus where that platform behind the paywall has also grown substantially in the last 6 9 months. So I just think we just keep plugging away, and we did it with Slammiversary. We broke records, and now we're going to do it again with Bound for Glory, and we're all aiming to break the record again. It won't be easy, but we're grinding every single day until we get to October 12th, and then we're going to have a big night in Lowell, Massachusetts, outside of Boston.
Which leads me to my next question. You made or had the biggest house in the history of TNA wrestling in North America. That was on Slammiversary. Now you're going to the Sunga Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. Best pre-sale in the history of TNA for Bound for Glory. Tickets are performing well. We are all expecting a sold out. What's the key behind this success? Obviously, you mentioned you have a great team doing all around work, and you're leading that team. But I have seen a lot of companies as well attempting to do this and failing miserably in a heartbeat. And TNA is just going up and up and up and up and up. So how do how is this possible?
I don't think it's any one thing. I think it's everything. It's understanding the ticketing space. It's understanding the city. It's understanding what you got to do on the digital marketing side. It's having great partners like WWE and NXT that help to elevate the brand on a weekly basis, like we saw last night on the CW live, and having great talent. I mean, at the end of the day, I've seen, and I think everyone has felt it. Everyone has told me because they've been here at TNA for years and years, but the energy builds energy, and the energy is felt by the talent. The talent performs. That energy is felt by the audience, and then the audience wants to come out to see it. And it just creates this positivity that keeps growing. And I can't tell you how many of our wrestlers have come up to me, over these last 6 or 9 months and just said, the 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 arena feels great. How many are we going to have tonight? We were just in Edmonton, and a couple of the guys and girls came up to me and wanted to know, like, sort of, how many people are we going to have tonight? I was like, we should have around 2,500. They're like, they get excited because they're performers. That's what they do. I mean, no one does well in front of 50 people compared to being in front of thousands of people. It creates energy and excitement, and I just feel like it's all feeding off of each other, and that's the growth that you're feeling, and certainly we're feeling inside of TNA.
Everyone is rowing towards the same direction. I think that's the key behind the success on TNA's boat. There were big moves that were done by you in the presidency. Some clapped, some criticized, but one of it's Ross Foreman going to a vice president role inside TNA. If I'm not mistaken, Ross has been there for over 20 years. He knows this company like from the palm of his hands and on his mind. Um, how is working with him in this different role? Because we've all seen him growth during the years, but now as a VP, under a VP role, he's had the opportunity as well to do more approaches and get more things in TNA's favor on this role. So how's working with Ross on the VP role?
Look, I think it's been great. I mean, it's sort of well over deserved. I mean, it for years and years, Ross has done so much, and he does so much kind of in the shadows that no one knows about, that ends up creating these buildings of audiences and the media, and getting folks like yourself and others that we can talk to. As I said, I was able to bring in some teammates that have been part of my teams in sports and entertainment over the last 20 years. But then I was able to mesh them together with so many great teammates that we already had. And so, like every organization, you have to keep the foundation. And certainly what Ross has done from a PR, communications, marketing, brand building side was one of those foundational pieces. We also had some great other foundational pieces in talent and talent relations. And then also just, a massively great studio down in Nashville, led by, Eric Tompkins and the team down there that produce great shows. And so we were able to bring in some new teammates, but then, smash them together with some really great, 5 and 10 and 15 and 20-year veterans that understand not only TNA, but also the landscape, but also the history, and how do we mix all those together. And it seems like right now, it's all gelled, and then it's like you just got to rinse, repeat, and keep doing it every day. And one of the things about Ross, and I think the whole team, is how hard they work. Everyone works every day. Everyone loves this. No one feels like it's work, and it's fun. And when you get that going on a team, magical things can happen. And it seems like we're going in that direction.
Let's talk about markets. I mean, you've been successful in Canada, you've been successful in the US, but in the past, TNA has been successful in several markets: UK, India, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, for example. Is interna is creating an international point of view of market something that you're aiming for 2026? Is it slow and steady? Wins the rest? Let's go step by step. Is TNA coming to Mexico? Are they coming to Puerto Rico again at any point?
Well, I think in 2025 it was around continuing to make sure we had distribution in other markets. We've got a great deal in India with WBD. We signed a great deal this year with Sportsnet 360 in Canada. And we also signed a great deal with Claro in Mexico and about, I think it's 12 or 14 South American countries. So that continued to build the audience. And I think that was step one. And I think step two, as we look at 2026 and 2027, because it happens quickly. I mean, we're almost in 2026 now. Then how do you go support in those markets some events? And so we've done that now with our with our relationship with Sportsnet in Canada. We just were in Edmonton. I mentioned we were in Brampton outside of Toronto earlier this year. We're looking at a number of other Canadian markets for 2026. But we've done some stuff with AAA and it's gone quite well. We were down at Triple Mania in Monterrey earlier this year. And so we are looking at Mexico and some South American countries. We have talked about doing some stuff in Puerto Rico. I'd personally love to do something in Puerto Rico, and I think there's some great opportunities. And we're also looking at the UK and some other European markets as well. But I think, like everything, you've got to lay the foundation of distribution, sponsorship. Then you go into the market and activate based on those things. So we're trying to put those building blocks in place.
If you allow me, I'm going to say something in Spanish very quick on my end, just for the sake of our audience. Y es que TNA tiene, ya escuchamos el 12 de octubre en el Songa Center de Lowell, Massachusetts. Tienen Bound for Glory disponible a través de TNA Plus también. Todos los latinos que están en el área, hay mucho boricua en Massachusetts, hay mucho mexicano, hay mucho hondureño también, particularmente en la zona. Así que dense la vuelta. TNA no decepciona. TNAwrestling.com para boletos. Los eventos están yéndose sold out bastante rápido, así que hay que tratar de adquirir esos boletos. Tienen hasta el 12 de octubre. No pierdan la oportunidad de ver TNA. Es una experiencia que todos deben tener en persona. Si no puedes verlo en persona, TNA tiene la aplicación que es TNA Plus y Thriller TV también para adquirirlo a través de pay-per-view. Y de igual manera acaban de anunciar dos nuevos eventos. Para noviembre tienen el 13 al 15. Del 13 al 15 hacen una invasión en Full Sail University en Orlando, en Florida, algo que no muchos vieron venir, pero TNA ahora invade el Full Sail University en Orlando, en Florida, y de igual manera llegan a El Paso, al área fronteriza entre Juárez, México, y El Paso, Texas, entre el 5 al 7 de diciembre en El Paso County Coliseum. Van a tener la oportunidad de verlo. Están yendo a través de todo Estados Unidos en mercados latinos, así que denle la oportunidad. TNAwrestling.com para boletos, TNA Plus para adquirirlos a través de pay-per-view, y de igual manera pueden ver la programación televisiva todos los jueves a las 8 de la noche. Si estás en Estados Unidos, a través de Access TV. Si estás a través de Latinoamérica, México, Sudamérica, a través de Claro Sports, puedes verlo en vivo desde las 8 de la noche. Which leads me to my last point due to time purposes in the interview. We've seen a lot of Latino growth inside TNA, both in the knockouts and as well the male roster, the tag team division. Everything is surrounded by Latinos. Mike Santana being that particular lane that we're all waiting for him to have that big moment. Who decided to put all their bets, all their money behind Mike Santana? How was this decision taken? Like, he's in the best physical shape in his life, I think. He's now fully sober and he's been very open about his battles in the past. So he's very reliable. He has a story, very strong one behind him. And now he has a whole country, un Puerto Rico entero, in his shoulders. Who took the decision of putting everything, all the bet, all the money in Mike Santana?
I don't think any one person. I think it's just how we've built the roster. Again, I mean, I think the entire roster is so hardworking. Everyone is so prepared when they come to, each of these events, that you see them all getting ready behind the scenes before they go into the ring. And I've just seen that with Mike. I mean, Mike has continued to just be prepared, be on point with everything that he's got to do. And it's not so much what happens in the ring, as we all know. What really matters is everything you do before you get into the ring. The ring in a way is the celebration of all of the hard work that you've done prior to that moment when you get in the ring. And we're excited. We're excited for Mike. We're excited for we'd love for him to bring our belt back. Trick has been holding the belt now for a long time, and it's tough. It was tough at UBS and in the three-way, and now Mike's got his shot with Trick as the main event. And I know all of all Puerto Rico will be watching. I know everyone in and around the New York City area where Mike is from. It's not a long drive to get from New York to Boston. Everyone should come up and cheer him on, and we'll all be cheering him on. And we got a Puerto Rican president, and we've got a Puerto Rican #1 contender. So I think that's exciting.
Puerto Rico en la casa. Carlos Silva couldn't say it better. Sir, it's been an honor for us to have you. I know you got to jump to the next one, but thank you so much for the opportunity as well. Thanks to Russ. One last words that you can provide to the Latino audience out there listening to you, so they can tune into TNA. This is the moment. The product is as hot as ever. It's either go there in person and see it, go to a pay-per-view, get the TNA Plus app. You got to be a part of it. What's the message to all the Latino fans out there, sir?
Yeah, look, support Santana. We want to bring the belt home. There's so many ways to watch TNA, whether you're watching now on Access TV, on TNA Plus, if you're down in Mexico and South America, on Claro, and then certainly come out for the weekend. We've got a lot of great things happening that weekend. We've also got the Hardys and Team 3D with a big meet and greet at Kowloon's outside of Boston on Saturday. It's going to be a whole weekend of enjoying TNA. So, please, the Latino community, come out, support us, and everyone, let's all break the record together.
And we know that's going to happen, Mr. Silva. Thank you so much. Honor to have you. Let's wrap this up, pero en español. Carlos Silva, de Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, en su sangre, a través de Washington, D.C., Bound for Glory, el sábado 12 de octubre a las 8 de la noche, Songa Center, Lowell, Massachusetts. No se lo pueden perder. TNA Plus para boletos y de igual manera TNAWrestling.com para boletos, TNA Plus para la aplicación y poder verlo en vivo. No pueden perderlo, tienen que ser parte de la historia. Carlos Silva y Michael Morales para Lucha Libre Online.